What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. I know I haven't really been active this week. I haven't been posting many videos. I think my last video was on Monday, and I have been trading a little bit, but I've only really been half paying attention to the charts. It's been a busy week for me, and overall, it just has not been a good week of trading for me. I am down for the week. I took a couple losses trying to trade this chop in here, and none of my plans were really working out. So price action was boring. My local plans inside this area were not working out, and I didn't want to, just try and half-ass a video. So I, just kind of took a break from, I guess, trading. Even though I did still take some trades, I wasn't really watching the charts that much, and I took a little break from posting videos. But today I'm back. There are some things that I want to talk about, and right now the main one would be, on a larger scale, what is happening down in this area after we have broken down out of the larger range. So far, Bitcoin has just been hugging the low end of the range and doing what I was looking for one of my potential scenarios, which is just forming a very small, very tight range after breaking down out of the larger range. And basically, my idea for this was that if we begin to form a range as soon as we break out of the larger range, then there's a chance that we end up just breaking back up through the range. This is something that Bitcoin likes to do often. Some people call this a manipulation event. And that is kind of what I'm looking at right now. We could potentially have a bullish scenario on our hands if we continue to range here, and then we are able to reclaim the larger range. But the opposite side of that was if we begin to, lose this low of the range now, there is a good chance that we come much lower, considering the inefficiency that we have below us. So that is pretty much where we are at right now. We have been ranging in this little area now for about a week, at least since Monday. So yeah, about 5 days at this point, which is, I would say, sufficient enough for one of these manipulation events. Usually you like to see a very small range, but you still want to see it be a somewhat significant range, at least a few days, and at this point, that's pretty much what we have gotten. You can see price is hugging the low end of the range. We've come up and found resistance on the range lows a few times. So I want to run through some potential scenarios. I want to take a look at market cipher, see if things are maybe pointing more bullish or more bearish. And I'll maybe even go over some local trade ideas in this little range. So I guess I already went over the main points of my higher time frame scenarios. Either we're going to lose this range to the downside, or we're going to lose this range to the upside. And I think whichever way we break, we will see some significant follow through, either to the upside or to the downside. Right now, looking at higher time frame market structure, it essentially looks like this, where we had an uptrend, we put in this last higher high, and then we broke the higher low when we got this move to the downside. So technically, based on structure, we could come back up into this range and still put in a lower high. So that's a bit of confliction there, I guess. But if we come down to put in a new low, even if we just wick this low, here, then I would consider this to be the lower high up here. So that would give us an opportunity to reclaim the range and transition market structure. And I think at that point, the idea of us getting a move back up through this range would become much more likely. So honestly, I would like to see those lows get ran one more time. But like I said, if we don't SFP that low, if we close down below it, I think there's a much better chance that we end up coming lower for a more significant retracement. Even though I guess we could, get a move down, close down here, and then, just come back up to break structure. That is possible, but I think it's unlikely based on the fact that we have all this inefficiency below us. I would probably expect us to at least fill that before transitioning structure. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at in terms of the more macro. So let's go over Market Cipher and see if that can give us any hints as to which way we may go. Now, we did form some divergences on this low. We formed some 4-hour divergences with momentum. That is a decent bottom signal, although it would have been better if the money flow diverged as well. It did not. It put in a lower low along with price. But since putting in that divergence, momentum has gotten a significant move to the upside along with money flow. And right now it seems like we are printing a nice 4-hour trigger wave as the money flow is continuing to put in higher highs in the green. So the 4-hour definitely showing bullish potential. And, honestly, it looks like we may want to reclaim this range soon. I mean, it has been a boring week. We've been in this little range all week, and a lot of times when we have boring weeks, we may see an exciting weekend. So, I wouldn't be too surprised if we end up breaking up this weekend when, there's less trading volume. But let's take a look at some other time frames. So the daily time frame, right now this momentum wave is printing a green dot. It looks like it could be bottoming out, but money flow is not looking great. It is right now putting in lower lows in the red, so that is not ideal. And my TradingView subscription ran out, so I can't look at a lot of these time frames. Yeah, I'll renew that when I get a chance to, but let's look at the 1 hour through the 4 hour, I guess. So, looking at the 3 hour, it looks like we may have gotten a money flow div here, and we did. So that actually is kind of significant. I like the fact that we got a money flow div on at least one of the higher time frames. The 2 hour as well, but I don't know. We did get a momentum div here as well. So yeah, honestly, a lot of the time frames, the 1 hour through the 4 hour are definitely showing some bullish potential. The daily is not looking super great, but yeah, I mean, just going off of this 4 hour, it seems like we definitely have some room to move to the upside. The money flow has come down and kind of consolidated in the red for a good amount of time. So, potentially we could look for another wave of green here. Now, if we're going to reclaim this range now, before we break market structure, then, I would probably look for us to hold significant support on one of the key levels in the range, either, this range low where we had all these wicks, or maybe even better would be the value area low of this previous range. Like I said, it would be better if we could get a move down to this low first, because that would give us an opportunity to transition structure here, and that would give some more confluence to the idea that this consolidation phase is over, and then if we hold support inside of this previous range, I would be a lot more confident. But if we do not get a move down towards this low first, then I would like to see us hold significant support on one of these key levels. Now, I can run through some of my ideas for this local price action, but my plans inside of this little range have not been working out so far. I took a couple losses in here, and just in general, this chop has been really hard to trade. My ideas inside this range have not been going to plan. They have not been working out, but I will list off some of my more confident ideas inside this area because I think there are a few. So looking inside of this local range, first off, following market structure, we had a downtrend to get into this range. We broke that downtrend when we broke above this high right here with a close. And let me double check that we did not close above this high anywhere else. I would not consider this a break, even if a candle closed above it, just barely, because we had these wicks prior. So when you wick a market structure point, like we did over here, let me mark out this high. When you wick a market structure point, I no longer look at the market structure point as the level that we have to close above. I look at the wick. So when we got this first wick, in order to break structure, I'd like to see it close above this wick. and then we got another wick here, which was slightly higher. So now I'd like to see it close above this wick. And we got a third wick over here, wicking this high. So again, still not a close, just a wick. And we finally got a close up above that level over here. So technically, going off of this structure, we are in an uptrend. And yeah, based off of that, this could be a higher low before a higher high. Also, based off of this market structure, we could come all the way down, even SFPing this low, and still maintain an uptrend here. So at this point, I would probably be prioritizing longs, I would say. Based off of market cipher, a lot of the higher time frames are showing bullish signs. Market structure is bullish. So I would be prioritizing longs. And, right now, the main idea I would be looking for would be this low. I would really like to see an SFP of this low. I think that's the, strongest idea I can come up with right now. I could look for some kind of local entry if we get another retracement here, but right now we're getting another move up towards the high of the range, so we may look to come up to continue market structure here. And if we break this high again, then I would be looking somewhere in between this low and whatever high we put in for potentially another higher low. So if this happens, then I'll come up with some kind of plan. Look for order blocks and significant levels inside of this stretch of price action. And yeah, that's basically the ideas I can come up with right now. I don't want to go too low time frame because I've been following internal structure this entire time, and that's basically how I've gotten wrecked. So I'm choosing to stick with the more primary structure here, and at least if I'm going to take a local entry, I want to make sure that it aligns with the more primary structure. So, maybe I'll look for a local entry, like I said, if we get a retracement here, but I'm not going to go over those plans right now because they haven't been working out. I'll take a risk on it if I feel like it, but that's not something I want to discuss in the video. And yeah, right now, that's pretty much all I have to go over. I think we're, yet again at a very crucial point. I feel like I've been saying that since we've gotten up to this range, and Bitcoin has been stalling thus far. But, we could be approaching that point where we see a significant development happen, This range down below the previous range is significant. This definitely gives us a chance to, continue on with bullishness if we can get a reclaim here. So I gotta say, I am feeling more bullish now than I was before, definitely, since we've been ranging here. But I don't want to, discredit the idea of us just putting in a lower high as well. This doesn't have to happen just because we formed a small range here. Doesn't mean we have to, completely fill this entire range. Because following structure, we could still just put in a lower high somewhere. So even if we're able to reclaim the range, I will be keeping in mind that, unless we take out this low first, structure would still be going against us. All right, well, that is pretty much what I'm looking at. Hopefully next week is better trading conditions because this week it was pretty trash, to be honest. And yeah, thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.